Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and last week I finished Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. It's the fourth book in the Throne of Glass series, and I loved it. It was honestly amazing, really amazing. But this video isn't going to be a review. I am going to be reviewing this book in a month or so, because I would like to reread the previous books before I do that, just so I can properly review the book. What I am going to be filming right now is a video about my favorite badass female characters in books. Particularly in fantasy books, because I didn't really find any female characters on par with the ones in my fantasy books. For me, a strong female character or a badass female character is not just a character who is physically strong, but also somebody who might be weak at times, who is mentally strong, emotionally strong, who knows when to get help and when to push through something alone. I just wanted to do a top 10 of my favorite characters, so that this video doesn't go overboard, and I kind of banned myself from picking two characters from the same book or series, and I also tried not to pick two characters from the same author, although there is going to be one exception. Except for the last one, the characters in this video are not going to be in any particular order, so I think that's all for now. Let's get started! First up, of course, is Selena, who is the most notorious assassin in her country. Maybe in her whole world. And since she is an assassin, it's pretty obvious that she's good with weapons and that she can fight. But she's also mentally very strong. She had to go through some serious stuff while growing up, which formed her, which made her very hard. And also she survived 1 year in the salt mines of Endovier, I think they're called, when most others die after a month. So that kind of proves how strong she really is. What I love about Selena is that while she is physically very strong, she's not a boyish or masculine strong character, which often happens, I think, in fantasy. For example, in Game of Thrones, Brienne or Arya, they are not very feminine characters. Selena is a feminine character, and that I love in books, when you have strong female characters that are also feminine. Ever since I started reading fantasy when I was about 11 or 12 years old, I idolized strong female characters and found them to be really interesting, much more so than their masculine counterparts. And one of my first female idols in fantasy literature was Nihal, from the Chronicles of the Emerged World by Licia Troisi. And the character I am talking about from this book is Nihal, who is the last survivor of her race, which is demi-elves, I guess you would call them in English, and who grew up with her father, who was a weapons smith, which already is really amazing. So she is kind of not very feminine, but more boyish in nature. Nihal wants to help save her country, which is attacked by someone who we only know as the Tyrant. And to do so, she sets her goals very high. She wants to become a dragon rider. However, only boys or men are accepted into the academy where they are educated. Well, it's safe to say that she's a very strong, kick-ass character. So next up are two characters from the Paranormal Urban genre. The first of them is Anita Blake, from the Anita Blake series by Laurel K. Hamilton. She is a vampire executioner, so it's safe to say she knows how to fight. She's a very strong character, and although later in the series she has a couple of boyfriends, she's never dependent on the boyfriends. She's always her own person, and she doesn't identify over having a boyfriend or not having a boyfriend. And the other one is Cat Raven from the Night Huntress novels by Janine Frost. Cat Raven, similarly to Anita Blake, is also a vampire hunter, but the difference is Cat actually is half vampire and half human, so she's stronger than most humans and doesn't die as easily. Those right now were the characters where the physical strength kinda is their main attribute and the main characterization. And now I'm going to go through some of the characters who might still know how to fight, but where I don't think that it's their main characterization. The first one is Charlotte Brenwell from the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. For those of you who don't know, the Infernal Devices is set in 19th century England, so women really didn't have a lot of power. Charlotte, however, managed to get elected as the leader of the London Institute. Officially it's her husband who is leading the institute, but everybody knows that she runs it. So next is Shallan from the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson. She has had some difficulties in her life, but she knows how to take care of herself. She's smart, she's intelligent, she's interested in loads of stuff, and she knows how to take opportunities. So, I love her. Also, she's really sarcastic. So, next up, I have a series that is full with strong female characters, which is A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I could have chosen characters like Brienne, Arya, or Ygritte, who know how to fight. I could have chosen Daenerys, who has dragons. Can't be more badass than that, right? But the character I did choose is someone who is not obviously strong, and that is Catelyn Stark. First of all, I have to give her some credit to being one of the two Starks I actually like. The other one is Sansa. I know everybody hates Sansa, but I just love her. And the rest of the Starks is just like, seriously, you want to do that? So I'm not going to go into too much detail, because actually I don't think that Catelyn Stark is too strong in the first book. And for those who haven't read the series, I can't explain why I think she's strong. I just really admire her, because I think that, especially in fantasy, there are not a lot of very strong mother figures. And she just really is that. Next up is a very political character. It's Marla Wolfblade from the Hydron Chronicles by Jennifer Fallon. We get to know Marla as a very spoiled 16-year-old, but at the end of the series, at the end of this book, she transforms into a political force to be reckoned with. And she just shows her strength again and again when she fights for a place as a woman in a society that is made for men. So we're almost at the end, and the 9th character I'm going to tell you about is Belladonna from the Ephemeris series by Anne Bishop. Belladonna is a strange woman. She's very powerful, and because of this power she was always shunned her whole life, except by her family. However, when it was important, she still fought for the people who have shunned her all her life. And that's why I think she is a really strong character. Before I get to my favorite female character of all time, let's do a list of some honorary mentions. There's Sorka from The Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillet, Lyra from His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, Vin from the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, Nehemia as well as Lysandra from the Throne of Glass series, Denna from The Name of the Wind, Izzy from the Mortal Instruments, and then there's also some honorary mentions from basically all of the books from Anne Bishop, because I think that there is nobody who knows how to write a strong female character better than Anne Bishop. Her evil characters, her good characters, her in-between characters, I think there is not one woman in her books that isn't strong in some way. There is in the Black Jewels series Janelle, Lady Cassidy, Marianne, I guess Hecatha and Dorothea as well. Who else is there? Just a lot. In the Tyr Lane trilogy, there is Morag, Ashk, Lyra, Brianna, Selena, I think she's called, so as well, a lot. And in the other series there is Meg Corbin, Tessa, and again, every other female character that is in this book. My favorite female character of all time, you probably guessed it, it's from one of Anne Bishop's books. It's from, of course, my favorite series of all time, the Black Jewels series, and it's Suriel, or however you pronounce her name. Suriel had a very hard childhood on the streets. Her mother was killed when she was 12, she was raped shortly after. Her two professions are prostitute, where she is the best of the best, as well as assassin, which she prefers. Obviously, she is a character who fights for what she believes in, who fights for her friends, for her family, and for herself as well. She is physically strong, as well as mentally, as well as emotionally, as well as magically. So, yeah. Absolutely amazing favorite character. That was it for this video. Tell me your favorite kick-ass female characters, or strong female characters, or just your favorite female characters. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Kiss kiss!